Good evening, everybody, and welcome to O'Rourke's Public House for the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Another big crowd on hand as everybody gets fired up for Vanderbilt to come to town this weekend. Both teams are 2-0. This is a football team that, after last week's game, was not happy in Notre Dame with the way that they played, to the point. I'm now in the locker room after the games that Coach Kelly had to remind the guys to enjoy the win, that they should not be satisfied with the way they played, but never take winning for granted, because it's not easy at this level. And believe me, I get the emails too, a lot of very upset Notre Dame fans, but the folks who both coach the game and cover the game for a living left Notre Dame exactly where they began last week. They are still ranked 8th in the country, because those kinds of performances happen a lot. The key is don't lose them, and Notre Dame didn't, and they worked very hard at getting better this week. There were certainly some good performances last week, especially by the defense. This has been a Notre Dame defense that has been tested a lot in the first 2 weeks, and they have answered the call in just about every situation. They have not given up a touchdown yet in the first 3 quarters of either game. And here's an interesting stat for you. The Notre Dame defense has been on the field for 27 opposing drives this year, and they've forced a 3-and-out 8 times. That's a 30% ratio of that. And that's a pretty impressive performance by the defense. Something else that was probably lost, and I get it, there's always a quarterback controversy, especially when a quarterback throws some picks. But what you might have forgotten is that Brandon Wimbush threw for 297 yards last week. That's a career high for him. He has 10 completions this season of 20-plus yards in the first 2 games. He's the best runner the team has, and he will remain the starting quarterback for this week. Now, Coach is on his way, and we will get as many of the questions that you have submitted. And I really thank you for all these questions, because there are more questions for Coach than we can possibly get to in a show. But I have filtered them. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. But we do want to remind you, as always, tonight's Brian Kelly Radio Show is brought to you by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979, so you know they've got their game plan down. Their team of experts help you find, deliver, and install using a playbook full of their very own test results and consumer ratings and reviews that make buying a new set of tires as easy as the quarterback sneak. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. And, of course, one other group I'd like to welcome is the Notre Dame Club of Gettysburg, situated in the building. Is anyone left in Gettysburg right now? I didn't think so. We have a lot of questions from that club as well. So that we have as much time as possible to get your questions to Coach Keller. We're going to take our first break here, and we will get back to those questions right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Traffic. It can be more stressful than that last-second Hail Mary pass. But Nissan changed the game. Nissan Rogue has available Nissan Intelligent Mobility, like ProPilot Assist, that can start and stop in highway traffic all on its own and help keep you centered. Nissan Rogue. It's a game changer. Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. ProPilot Assist is an available feature and cannot prevent collisions. Always monitor traffic conditions. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. See owner's manual for safety information.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
This isn't just any Wi-Fi. It's the best in-home Wi-Fi experience to stream the most free shows on any device. It's how Xfinity makes life simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity delivers fast speeds and the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Perfect for streaming your favorites. Access the most free shows and movies, and even your DVR recordings on any device with the Xfinity Stream app. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Another terrific audience here tonight. And, folks, the sellout streak will continue this weekend for Notre Dame against Vanderbilt. But there is now a new way for you to pick up tickets to any game on the schedule. Experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell your tickets. Vivid Seats helps you see more and sit closer all season long at vividseats.com/UND. Coach Kelly, how are you?
Doing great.
Good to see you.
Awesome.
We have lots of questions as always, but I'll just start with the big question that everybody has, and I just mentioned to the folks, after the game, your players, I reminded them that you reminded them to enjoy a win.
Oh,
absolutely. You should never take a win for granted. But they had taken ownership to the point where they weren't enjoying it when you walked into that locker room to talk to them. But they have taken ownership. But the question always is, how'd they respond in practice? What did you do? So summarize how practice went this week.
Well, our level of concentration and our level of commitment in terms of what we need to do was where it needs to be. And good week of practice. What I expected from our guys was to get after it this week, and they did, and feel really good about the preparation. And my job is to prepare them. And I didn't do a great job last week, and we didn't play great. Got a win regardless, and now we move into Vanderbilt. So we're excited about playing Vanderbilt this weekend.
And in order to achieve the goals with this team, which is always to win every single game, another thing that I know you mentioned was that they needed to be tougher. You mentioned that after Tuesday's practice, but I loved your definition of toughness. I know that the average fan would hope that the coaches were all screaming at everybody and the players were all mad and, maybe some punches would be thrown or something, but that's not what you mean when you talk about a team being tough.
No, I mean, mental toughness is accountability and responsibility, and our guys took full accountability and responsibility for, not paying attention to detail and doing the little things that you have to in terms of preparing to play at your very best. So, they picked up their play, played faster, played more physical in practice, and that's going to get you better on Saturdays. And so we coached better. Our plan was better. And like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. It's 28 years of coaching. You're going to have some games that you don't play the way you want to play. Find a way to win them. And we did. And now through a win how you have to prepare your team. And so we know a little bit more about our football team and the way they need to prepare to play at the high level. They beat a really, really good football team in Michigan, prepared the right way, came back this week, prepared the right way, and that's going to help them beat Vanderbilt.
Bill's here from Granger. Coach, could you talk about the different skill sets of your tight ends?
Well, Alizé Mack is certainly a guy that can block in line, but he has the skills certainly to catch the football. Cole Kmet, a guy that can do both, physical inline blocker, but a very gifted pass receiver. We know that he plays baseball as well. Brock Wright is a physical player, also lines up as the fullback in our short yardage offense, emerging as a tight end. And we all know about Nick Wisher, fifth-year player for us, just a great leader, great pass catcher coming out of high school and has continued to be that for us. And, we've got a couple of young players, George Takis, Tommy Tremble, who aren't playing this year, but two really gifted tight ends as well that are going to have a bright future at Notre Dame.
And certainly the position group is so deep. If you had to have an injury, that's one where you can probably absorb it. What is the prognosis now in terms of when he'll return for Cole Kmet?
Well, it's week to week. It's an ankle sprain, so we rubbed a little dirt on it, and he's probably going to be doubtful for this weekend, but that's a week-to-week situation. One
other injury that did not happen in the game that you mentioned at your press conference at the Rover position this week.
Yeah, excuse me. Jeremiah Owusu broke his foot in practice. He was a very talented player for us on special teams, was the backup Rover for us. So, excuse me, he's lost for about 10 weeks.
Kennedy's here from Albany, New York. Coach, what are your favorite ways to calm down before a game?
Calm down before a game. I just think I have a process that I've done for my entire career that, takes me into my locker room. I look over my notes, put together the pregame plan. And I think I kind of stick with that. It really hasn't changed much. The pregame routine is what it is. It's always been the same. Kind of isolate myself. Think about the things that I've got to take care of during the game, and that kind of just gets me in the moment.
So let me flip that. How do you calm down after a game? For example, Saturday, when you know that you didn't play as well as you could, and you're going over in your head the things you can do differently, the things you want the team to do differently. How do you turn that off and get a good night's sleep?
I sleep really good after a win, and quite frankly, I'll worry about that in the morning because I'm not going to sit there and watch film right after the game. I'm going to enjoy the win. It's too hard to win in college football. So enjoy the win, usually with family, and then get back to work next morning. First thing in the morning, we'll evaluate the film. We'll be critical in terms of what we should have done better, where we could have prepared better, get a good night's sleep, and get back to work. If you kind of obsess over it,
it's counterproductive.
You burn yourself out. I mean, you got to win, and you can do things better, but we won the football game. So I like to do a well, better, learned, kind of exercise. What did you do well? Well, we won the game. What could you do better? Well, we could have probably prepared better, and then what did you learn? Well, we probably got to, practice a little bit better during the week and be a little bit more intentional. So, kind of do that and then move on and then get to work on figuring out what we've got to do better on Sunday.
As you can see, big crowd here tonight, and in the back, your favorite Notre Dame club of Gettysburg,
Gettysburg
Pennsylvania.
is back. Gettysburg is back. They're always here. They live here. Gettysburg is part of South Bend. We're going to annex Gettysburg. They probably won't let us, but.
Rick Staub is here of that club. Coach, have there been any changes made on special teams to shore up kickoff coverage and kick returns?
No, I mean, I think we got to kick the ball better. First of all, Jonathan is still, look, he's up there swinging a little too hard. He's got to be a little bit more consistent with his kicks, and he's going to be. It's just a matter of time. And, we had a couple of missed tackles on the first game against Michigan, but we've kind of shored that up. I think we're going to be pretty good in special teams. I think the first week, obviously, the big return was disappointing. We were in position to make some plays, and we got to kick the ball a little bit better off a kickoff. Other than that, Justin Yoon is pretty good. He missed one field goal, but he's usually money.
Mike's here from Hanover, Pennsylvania. I'm sure he's a member of the Notre Dame Club.
If he isn't, they'll sign him up before he gets out of here.
Well, they want his dues, that's for sure. Coach, what did you do this week to help shore up offensive line play?
Shore it up. Look, I mean, I think we look at this, we're in week 3, and there's no panic. We just have to be a little bit better on some of the movements that we saw up front. We saw a smaller unit in Ball State give us a lot of movement, and we didn't pick up some of the things that we need to. So clearly, we spent a lot of time on, obviously our guys being more prepared for movement and picking those things up and practicing all the little details that go with playing offensive line and getting that group to communicate and work well together.
Carol Schroeder's here from New Jersey. Now, Coach, if you control the schedule, which you don't, but if you control the schedule, is there a game you would like to play sooner or later than is currently scheduled?
I'd probably like to play Northwestern a little bit earlier, but, the schedule is what it is. And, each year you're going to play Stanford or USC early, and you're going to play one of them late. I would love to play the last game of the year at home. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't want to finish the season here in South Bend?
USC.
I know I would. USC doesn't want to play.
That would be terrific to get USC or Stanford out here after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and certainly because of the Pac-12 and their scheduling, it's virtually impossible to do. But to finish every year on the road, it's difficult for our guys because they got to go to Thanksgiving and then they got to go on the road. Love to be able to finish at home, but we know the schedule doesn't work that way, so we just play them as we see them.
Brandon is also here from the Notre Dame Club of Gettysburg, and he's interested in his namesake on the team. How is Brandon Wimbush's mindset this week?
It's good. It's good. He's doing really well. I mean, making progress each and every week. I mean, look, he's a good player. I mean, I think we all should put an arm around Brandon and say, let's go, kid. Just keep plugging away and keep doing it. He's got to make better decisions. We all saw that, right, on Saturday. So if you were at the game, you can say the same thing I said to him, make better decisions and be who you are, just be who you are. And if he does that, we're going to win a lot of football games with Brandon Wimbush as the quarterback.
It surprised me, and I understand it. You throw picks, and it's very frustrating. Career-high 297 yards Saturday. On this season, he's already completed 10 different passes for 20 or more yards. There's a lot of things that he is doing better than he did last year. His pocket presence, I think, is much better.
Yeah. Well, he's the Notre Dame quarterback. I mean, he's going to be scrutinized like no other position in college football. So it comes with the territory. He knows that. But he's getting better each and every week, and he'll be evaluated that way each and every week. And he knows that, and he's just got to settle down, make good decisions, take care of the football, and be who he is. Don't try to be Joe Theismann. Who wouldn't want to be Joe Theismann, though? I mean, Joe listens to the show all the time, so that was a plug for Joe. But
he's back quite a bit, too. Yes.
But, just be Brandon Wimbush. If he does that and makes good decisions, we're going to be fine.
Nathan Sagan's here from Granger. He comes to every single show. Coach, during your off-season practices, how often do you focus on each opponent versus working on basic fundamentals?
Well, in preseason camp, obviously you try to focus on your opener, and then we always have a time for the triple option. So we always spend a little time on the triple option and the basics of the triple option. So the opener, we spend a little time on that, and then always have remnants of always working against the triple option.
Jamita Potter's here from Granger. Interesting question. May not be able to be answered quickly. Coach, what is the best part of your job and the worst part of your job?
Well, the best part is being around the players and getting a chance to, be with them and see them, through their development over, a period of 4 or 5 years. That's the best part. That's why you do it. That's what gets you up in the morning. The worst part of it is seeing a kid like Sean Crawford get injured again, and here's a kid that, has done everything the right way, but, has now had a third injury. That's the worst part of it. Winning and losing is part of the process, that happens. And at Notre Dame, there's a high expectation, and there should be. But that's not what that motivates most coaches. It's the process of developing your players.
Beth Hensler from Houston, although she and her husband live up here during the fall to go to all the football games and help the fencing team. Beth would like to know, does the pregame meal change from a 7 p.m. start to a 2:30 start?
It does. It does. Inside information we're giving out here. So the meals do change all the way across the board. So, for example, next week we'll have a noon start, so it'll simply just be breakfast, right, for that. So that'll be an omelet station, things of that nature, proteins. With the 2:30 start versus the 3:30 start, that even changes a little bit because guys they'll get up early and they'll eat a big breakfast, and then they don't want another big meal again around 11:30, 12 o'clock. So we feed them a little bit differently, even with an hour difference. So you're still going to have the carbohydrates, you're still going to have the fruits, you're still going to have the proteins. We just arrange it a little bit differently because with a 2:30 or 3:30 start, you're going to have something for a breakfast and something for a pregame, and the load of that changes. With a night game, you're actually feeding them 3 times. a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. And so we're careful in terms of what we feed them at that certain time, because we don't want to give them too much carbohydrates. We don't want to give them too many proteins. So that one becomes a little bit of much more of a balance between we're trying to use much more of a longer-lasting fuel on those night games, so they're not burning up all their energy before we get to halftime. So good question.
Kevin Morrison's here from Granger. Coach, on our first possession of the game, are the plays scripted in advance?
No, they're not. No, and I've scripted before, but we have some openers that start drives. You know, these are the openers that start off particular drives, but we're not scripting the first 10, 15 plays of drives. No.
There is no team sport that has a larger roster than football. And I don't think there's any team sport that has more equipment, maybe hockey, but other than that, than football.
Try moving a football team.
Yeah, how big a challenge is managing all that equipment?
Well, I mean, you're talking about, a trailer. First of all, everyone's seen our trailer. So that is full to the brim, plus another U-Haul trailer, as well as a full-time, assistant coach, assistant equipment manager, plus Chris himself. And then a staff of over 15. It's a huge, and we're talking about the equipment, director of equipment for football, Chris Bassick. He's going to be with us tonight. It is an incredible undertaking on a day-to-day basis to move us. And it'll be his first away game going to Wake Forest next week. So hopefully everything arrives. I hope we have helmets and shoulder pads.
Well, you have a busy schedule, so we're going to make it easy. Our next segment, you're going to get to quiz Chris and Dan Glynn, his assistant, to make sure that they're ready. They're both here.
Dan's our new assistant. Please welcome Dan as well. Dan just came to us from Kennesaw State. He was the head there. We just hired Dan. He's with us, so you'll get a chance to talk to both of them in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, they're coming up right now, but first this time out, it's the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
Some may think that cooler temperatures mean the end of outdoor fun, but at Outpost Sports, we know there is plenty of fun times ahead to enjoy the great outdoors. And it's also a great time to enjoy great savings at Outpost Sports Bike Blowout Sale. Every in-stock 2018 bicycle is now at blowout sale prices. Outpost Sports' great selection of hybrid bikes, road bikes, tandem bikes, pedal assist electric bikes from Trek, Specialized, Norco, and Electra, now at blowout sale prices. And the best mountain bikes now with a special blowout sale price of 25% off. No matter your riding style, Outpost has the right bike for you at the sale price you cannot ignore. It's the Trek, Specialized, Norco, and Electra Bicycle Blowout Sale only at
Outpost Sports. We've got the fun for you. Outpost Sports.
96.1 WSBT. The sports leader is the exclusive home of the Mishawaka Cavemen. Brought to you by Midland Engineering Company. Mishawaka Cavemen Sports are presented by Legacy Heating and Air, the Mishawaka Education Foundation, School City of Mishawaka, and by Thor Industries. The Mishawaka Cavemen are also brought to you by Beef O'Brady's, Edward Jones, Bonnie Doon Drive-In, Jay's Crunchers Potato Chips, Hearth and Home, Kevin Potts with First Midwest Mortgage, Monterey Mexican Grill, Kurt Outdoor Living, Rosini Pizza, the Food Bank of Northern Indiana, Sonic Drive-In, Zolman's Tire and Auto, and by Wings Etc. Mishawaka Cavemen Football is brought to you by Midland Engineering Company on 96.1 WSBT, the sports leader.
Finally, one place to post your event where everyone in Michiana will see it. It's the new MichianaCommunityCalendar.com. That's right, MichianaCommunityCalendar.com. It's clean, it's simple, it's just a big list of events in our area. And now your nonprofit can add an event on MichianaCommunityCalendar.com for free. Just click Add an Event right now at MichianaCommunityCalendar.com. Keeping you connected with Michiana, this service is brought to you by the WSBT Radio Group, Midwest Family Broadcasting.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. And as we previewed, please welcome Notre Dame's head football equipment manager, Chris Bassick, and associate football equipment manager, Dan Glynn. Thank you both for coming out here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Chris is in his first year as the full-time Notre Dame football equipment manager, but you've been around here like forever since you were a student. You were a 2001 graduate. You went on you got a degree in accounting. You had a job, but you've like never left.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2001. I was the assistant equipment manager for the football team until 2004. Went back to school again, and I've been out here ever since. But when I left the team, they gave me the opportunity to still work the road games and the home games kind of on a volunteer basis and, help move the team across the country and then kind of be behind the scenes in the locker room for the home games. So
Notre Dame loves this. People who are smart and work hard and they volunteer. We love that stuff.
Yeah.
And, of course, everything's got a connection. Dan spent much of his early life in Grand Rapids, as you know, and got his collegiate degree from Grand Valley State.
Grand Valley State, and he knows how to do the laundry. So if you know how to do the laundry at Grand Valley State, you can make it here at Notre Dame. Because I learned how to do the laundry at Grand Valley State. So I figured he'd be a great addition. No, I mean, he's been great. I mean, coming in from Kennesaw as the head guy there on very short notice. We hired him. Our HR people were great, knowing that we were under the gun, obviously, going into the Michigan game. And Dan and I were just talking about it. I think went through the background check, went through the whole process, and I think we hired him the day before the Michigan game. Yes, so that would have been interesting if Chris was out there by himself and we had a couple of helmets go off. It could have been catastrophic. So we were glad to get him here right before the Michigan game.
And how much easier was it for the transition? Because Ryan Grooms did such a great job as your.
By the way, Grooms is going to be on the other sideline, I hear, Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't allow that. He knows all the stuff.
Yeah, he wasn't that good. That's why we got rid of him. He wasn't that good. So, but he's his brother was the former equipment manager there, right?
He's the director of ops there.
Well, director of ops. So they needed some help.
Right.
Yep.
So Grooms is going to go over there and try to fix a couple of guys' helmets over there. So he won't do very well, but that's okay.
We already turned the hot water off in the showers.
Yeah,
Really?
no hot water over there.
But he knows where the spigots are, right? So lock them.
No, it was new. He doesn't know. It's all new.
Ryan has moved on to work for a helmet manufacturing company, and in part because of the tremendous demands that are placed on these guys. And he had a young family, and it was just kind of a lifestyle decision. It was hard for him to leave. And how much easier it was to have a guy who literally had been around forever to move into that slot?
Well, Chris knows the business, and being around it and seeing it, knowing how difficult, we talked about this being his first road game. One of the things he did is he was on the road with us, so he knows what it's like to actually move a football team and the logistics of that, which is, you have your own static operation, and you work out of your own offices when you're on campus. You go on the road, it's a whole different, deal. You got to know the logistics. You got to be there. It's different, and at least he has that experience, and certainly, Dan's got that experience too. So this will be an easy transition. Dan,
of course, has been working in a state where football is kind of important. Georgia, assistant equipment manager at Georgia State, was an intern equipment manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars, was the equipment manager back at Grand Valley State, and of course was working as the assistant equipment manager, or rather the full-time equipment manager at Kennesaw State University. So he's crammed a lot of experience into his 7 professional years. How'd you find out about him, though?
So actually, my senior year roommate is Dan's uncle, and he had told me about him a while back to keep my eye on him, and the opportunity came up a couple weeks ago, and reached out to Dan and had a good phone conversation, brought him to campus, and it was just as good, so knew he was the guy for the job.
Connections and networking. Coaching, it's important. Equipment managing, it's important.
You got it.
We got more questions for you two guys. You get to take your little break here.
All right.
And we'll be back with more on the Brian Kelly Radio Show right after this.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
The two most recognized names in orthopedic and sports medicine have teamed up to form Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance. South Bend Orthopedics and OSMC are now Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance, offering patients access to more than 40 physicians in 7 state-of-the-art locations with no referral required. As one entity, they will collaborate with a broader group, sharing experiences and ideas so you'll receive the best care possible. Although Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance is a new name, they're still committed to the community they've served for over 70 years. For more information, visit ascendantortho.org.
If your superpower is making pizza disappear, then you've got to try Papa John's new Italian Hero Pizza. Featuring a creamy Italian sauce covered with epic portions of pepperoni, salami, Roma tomatoes, onions, banana peppers, and topped with 4 delicious cheeses. It's like an Italian Hero sandwich on a pizza. Get a large Italian Hero Pizza for just $10. Download the app or order at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Life doesn't come with a financial roadmap. It does come with a lot of bumps and red lights. Steering clear of those doesn't have to be difficult. With First Source Bank's online money management tools, you can see all your financial accounts, balances, and transactions in one place. So you can easily set monthly budgets to help manage expenses and debt. Get the green light to a successful financial future with First Source's money management tools. First Source Bank, where better is better. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show with Chris Bassick and Dan Glenn. And folks, how about this for a year? Not only, this is kind of a dream job for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not only did Chris get his dream job, but back in May he was married in the Basilica. This is a pretty big year.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you'll never forget your wedding anniversary because something else so important happened this year, right?
No question.
Is your wife here tonight?
Yes, she is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have not met yet. As you look at the ND Equipment Twitter feed, which is always fascinating, I did know that Ryan Grooms apparently took many of those followers with him. So you're rebuilding it now. But there's not much personal stuff there, except on your wedding day, you were adjusting your bride's equipment. Well, explain that photo a little bit.
Well, she was in heels for, the wedding and everything, but then, needed something more comfortable for the dance floor. So I had ordered a pair of, all white shoes from Under Armour for her to, dance the night away. So the picture was me taking the heels off and putting the running shoes on, so it should be just a little bit more comfortable for the 3-hour shoes out there.
Okay, now the photo, there's no heels in the photo. It's just all about the Under Armour shoes. So
well, yeah.
I figured, did the heel go out or something? But no, you were just getting them on there.
Oh, yeah.
So would you suggest that maybe we start a new fashion trend where all brides just start with the Under Armours right away?
I would think so, yeah. Just much more
that would be good.
Yeah. The dress covers it anyway.
You're originally from New Jersey, went to St. Joseph's High School there, which is a basketball power. They don't have a football team. So you picked a different sport, which I think is going to carry you forever.
Golf. Yeah.
You golfed.
Correct.
You're pretty good at it.
Not too bad.
So have you golfed with Coach Kelly yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I heard he's pretty good, too. When you got the call about coming to Notre Dame, what was your initial reaction? Because I know this happened rather quickly because this opening happened unexpectedly. So what was your first reaction, and how long did it take you to say yes, and how supportive were your former employers right before football season to find out they were losing their guy?
There was no hesitation with the yes.
All right.
The first question was, were you interested in? It was a dead yes. This is a dream job for me as well. This is something that no matter what I did in life, this is where I wanted to be. And the opportunity came about, and I couldn't turn it down. Obviously, it's a hard time of year to tell your employers, hey, just so you know, so-and-so called. Here's what's going on. Walk them through the process. And being up front with those guys, too, about it all was huge. It made a big difference.
And I'm assuming because, it's Notre Dame, it's college football. They were like, you got to do that. You got to do that.
Yep.
Talk about, I was in your office on yesterday morning, And I was struck by, knowing all that's going on in the transition, how calm the two of you were. It was almost like a monastery. And I know the players aren't there yet. Are you faking it, or have you guys really hit the ground running and you had everything done?
No, it's Dan and I have great chemistry already. We're both in there at about 6 a.m. every day, and first thing is getting the players' laundry out each day. But the biggest thing for us is just having a list of things to tick off, whether it's a home game or a road game. And we've already started preparing to pack all the trunks that we're going to need to throw on the truck next week. So it's we kind of take it day by day, and as long as that list gets done, we know we're ahead of the game.
Okay, give me a typical day for a home game. What's a typical day like for both you guys? Give me your responsibilities, and I'll ask you for yours.
Like I said, we're both in there sometime before 6:30 in the morning, get the players' laundry out because, some days those guys are in there as early as 7:30 working out. Typically my morning's got a couple different meetings going on, and then the players are normally back around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the building. Different requests you got to fulfill there, and we're out on the practice field at 4, till about 6:30, clean up after that, and then hopefully, closing up by about 8 o'clock at night.
What are your duties on a typical home week day?
Just come in, help with laundry, make sure everything's good to go for the day. Little details here and there, making sure jerseys are cut up right. There's no frays on the numbers, stuff like that. Little things that Chris can't do while he's in meetings, so helping them cover anything and everything that it could be, from packing trunks, making sure this is stocked, make sure we're ready for practice, make sure the jugs machine is ready to go. Little things like that. It's all in the details.
And you've already talked about, you're already starting to get ready for the first road trip of the season. When does that preparation normally start? Does it depend on how far the drive is for the equipment truck?
It's that, and it also depends on when we start in the year. We'll probably start sometime in fall camp next year because we start on the road. So this year's been a little bit different, almost having a month to prepare for the first road trip. So we, can take a couple different times during the home game weeks when we have downtime to start getting ready for it. But I would say, a couple weeks out, we start getting ready for it, and then Sunday we'll really start ramping up, and we'll have the truck locked and ready to go on Wednesday night, and it'll pull out first thing Thursday morning.
Have you ever figured out how many tons of equipment you take on the road for a game?
That's a great question. I know that they've been weighed a couple times. I'll have to ask those guys the next time they get pulled over for a weigh station.
I'm not sure, because you've got to be prepared not just for the game, but for the entire trip. So obviously there's stuff that's needed the night before the game for meetings and whatnot. And then now there won't be one for Wake Forest because it's a noon game, but normally now there's a walkthrough. You get them up, you get them moving, you go to the stadium. And then you've got the warm-up equipment, and then you've got the game equipment. How much stuff are you taking?
Oh, I mean, it's just like Coach Kelly said. I mean, we take a 53-foot trailer on the road, and that thing is stocked from the front of it all the way to the back and all the way up to the ceiling. I mean, we've got easily 20 different trunks when you account for all of our stuff. We take 5 different trunks just for the headsets that the guys use, a couple different bins for towels, a bunch of bins that we use just for post-game to get all the dirty laundry back, and then, a bunch of stuff that we use just on the field for pregame.
Okay, now we're talking about players, but you also got to bring all the gear for not just the coaches, but you've got the managers, you've got the doctors. I mean, and you want everybody who's on the team, both just for the look. This is the Notre Dame football team, so you all want them to look the same, and for security purposes. Everybody who's on those sidelines needs to have on the right gear so that you know that the right people are there. So how much additional stuff are you bringing for all of the support personnel and the coaches?
Oh, it's insane. The amount of people you're looking at, what is it, 51 extra hands?
Yeah.
51 extra hands that you're packing for every week, and that's tops, bottoms, socks, underwear, you name it, we pack it.
Now, obviously, you have a little bit more to work with here, so I'm going to ask this question to you first. What's the most interesting equipment manager dilemma you've ever been faced with, and how did you solve it?
Ooh. Most interesting equipment manager dilemma.
Or most challenging?
Trying to do decals, different decals that we did down there, and trying to keep it a secret for as long as possible, and doing it basically in the dark of the night after already working a 14-plus hour day, something like that. I mean, trying to.
So Kennesaw changed their logo?
We did for one of our games, we broke out gray jerseys with a different helmet, different logo on the helmet, and it was time intensive, that's for sure.
In all your years at Notre Dame, going back to your days as a manager, what's the most challenging situation you were ever in, and how did you solve it?
Well, this goes back to when we were painting the helmets, actually, and later in the year, they just don't dry as well. So we had to go in and basically use all the restrooms that we had in the inner bowl of the stadium there and turn on the heaters just to be able to get the helmets to dry. So that was, we were working on it till about 3 in the morning, and then came up with that idea to, basically use a couple warm rooms, and that worked, and got the last screw done, a couple hours before the team showed up.
How have you seen helmet technology change? Because I know that's a tradition that a lot of folks rightfully miss, the painting of the helmets. But the helmets now are made out of this composite material that really is so much safer. And by the way, there are some flecks of the gold from the Golden Dome in the current helmets that you are still wearing now. You just don't have to spray them each week. But how much better are the helmets in terms of keeping the players safe?
The advancement in technology from even 10 years ago is incredible. And the best part is there's so many different companies that they want to continue to sell their helmets, that once somebody comes out with a better technology, the next company is just looking for the next thing to make it even safer. So having multiple players in that field to be able to go and keep all the guys safe and on the field with the advancements is incredible.
I know you got to keep everybody happy, but one guy in particular, you got to keep this guy happy. So did Chris tell you, Dan, anything in particular you got to make sure goes in that trunk for Coach Kelly?
We walked through that trunk together, and again, there's little things in there that we know about that are taken care of.
Have they forgotten anything yet? Nope. You've got an A+, but we're only 2 games in, so you got to be perfect for the entire season. All right, folks, we're going to have more of our conversation with Chris Bassick and Dan Glynn right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show before Packed House again at O'Rourke's Public House.
Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame invites you to dine, shop, enjoy. Just south of campus, Eddy Street Commons has specialty shops like Urban Outfitters, Nicholas J. Salon, Kilwin's Chocolates, and Hammis Bookstore. If you're looking for a delicious dining destination, consider one of Eddy Street's many eateries. O'Rourke's, Barbici, Brothers Bar and Grill, and now open is Livery. That's Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame. Follow them on Facebook. For details on upcoming events and special offers, visit eddycommons.com.
Hi, this is Doug Leckleitner. For nearly 4 decades, Leckleitner Door Sales and Service has been trusted for quality installation and repair of residential, commercial, garage, and overhead doors. At Leckleitner Door, we have no sales gimmicks, just honesty and integrity by a family-owned business that my dad started in 1979. The Leckleitner name stands for quality products and workmanship, and we strive to satisfy each customer with every door we install or repair. Leckleitner Door, we open all the right doors. Call 295-6311.
Gulfstream Coach. We're looking for a few exceptional trainees for our first shift who are eager to learn, can function in a fast-paced environment, and want to learn the RV business. We're a family-owned business and offer amazing health insurance, attendance bonuses, and paid vacation time. Call us at 800-289-8787. That's 800-289-8787. Or apply online at GulfstreamCoach.com. That's GulfstreamCoach.com. You could be just what we're looking for. Apply today.
Score some great deals at Kurt Outdoor Living's open house September 29th and get your backyard in shape for fall entertaining with one-day special pricing. Blocks and pavers 10% off retail orders. Polly's Island patio furniture 20% off. Outdoor furniture up to 50% off. Gas fire tables up to 40% off. Grills 15% off. Wood-burning DIY fire pit kits only $3.99. Bring your ideas and talk with our professional designers. Enter the drawing to win a tailgate grilling package. 2129 West Wilden Avenue, Goshen. KurtOutdoorLiving.com.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales
director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
We are back at the Brian Kelly Radio Show live from O'Rourke's Public House. And in the break, I was just talking with Chris and Dan a little bit. And this is an interesting profession, equipment managers. And it's not unusual for guys to just do it literally forever. It is becoming more and more demanding. But I just asked both you guys, and I love the answer I got. So do you think a degree in accounting, do you think this could be your job for life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people think that I'm crazy, with the background that I have. But, I mean, I've been waiting for this opening for a while. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Beautiful wife, what do you think? Is that okay with you? Yep. She got the thumbs up. She's also smart as well, too. So she just said, don't ever let Nolan do that to me again, ever. Dan, you've got a degree in sports management.
Yes, sir.
But same thing?
Yes, sir.
This field anyway?
Yes.
Because I know you want hinge jobs. You're going to be friends. Check the coffee after a couple of years. But what is it? What do you like about this? Because it's long hours, but what attracts you to this? What makes you feel good about coming in every day?
Well, it goes back to what Coach Kelly said about watching kids grow over 4 to 5 years, just watching those and just seeing the difference from year 1 to year 5 or year 4, whatever it might be. And it's just the people. The people make the world of difference to me.
And there is. And they develop great relationships with the assistant coaches, with the head coach, but it's a different relationship with the equipment guys. It's almost like a brother relationship that they can make. Of course, they want stuff, too, and I'll ask that question in a second. But talk about the relationship that you have with those players. How would you describe it?
It is like that, just like you said. It's a family relationship because a lot of times, between Dan and I, we're the first guys that they see each morning because they'll come and see us and need something before they go in and lift weights or go to practice. And a lot of times, they're the last people that they see before they go up to meal or something like that. So they see us a lot throughout the day, and it's kind of you develop a bond with a bunch of the guys. It's not just, 1 or 2 of them. There's 120 guys that we deal with, and, we're trying to take care of each of them as best we can.
Now, you're a little bit older. I mean, you're old enough to be the big brother now. But you're basically almost the same age still. You're still in that grouping, that generation. So what is your relationship like with them?
It's no different than Chris's, in my opinion. It's again, you just got to come in and set the standard and go, hey, guys, I get it. Yes, I'm not much older than you, but I'm here to do a job, and it's what it is.
We're going to get to the 60-second questions now. I gave you both a heads up. You know what this was all about. And I'm going to start with one just for you guys, and to preface this by the fact that players love gear. They just love gear. And, in fact, one of the positives about the Shamrock Series, and as traditional and as beloved as the Notre Dame uniform is, that you rarely ever change it, but the Shamrock Series allows Notre Dame to do some different things with the uniform, and the guys love it. So the question is, and you may have some trouble or you may already know, it'll be interesting to see how you answer this, but right now, who's the biggest gear hound on this team? Who's always hitting you up to see if he can get more stuff?
That's tough. I mean, each guy would like as much stuff as possible. So, I don't think I could call any one of them out on that because, I could list off about 50 guys that would each ask for about the same amount of stuff.
This is why he can keep this job forever. The perfect, politically correct answer. So I expect the similarities, but has anybody, as the new guy, because there are certain limits to what you can and can't give them, like the travel suits they actually have to return. People don't realize that. But is anybody trying to do an end run around Scott because they figure you're the new guy, maybe they can get something out of you?
No, they can try all they want, but after being a former head guy with a lot smaller budget, I'm probably even stingier than Chris.
All right, favorite all-time movie?
Jaws.
Step Brothers.
Favorite TV show? Like you guys have any time to watch TV?
Seinfeld.
Parks and Rec.
Okay. Somehow that makes sense. Was that during your undergraduate days, was that big for people in your major?
Yes, but I actually didn't watch it until after I graduated, a few years down the road.
When you get to take a vacation, what's your favorite vacation spot?
Hilton Head Island, South Carolina.
It's going to sound crazy, my parents' house, just because it's away from everything.
And they cook and clean for you. You don't do laundry there, do you? Or do you?
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm doing
Some
laundry.
mom's like, no.
Yep.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you, Dan?
Back surgery at the age of 16.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
Actually playing high school football, I took a shot to my back. My freshman year, collapsed my senior year, had some issues, got it fixed, and couldn't play anymore. So that's kind of how I actually got into equipment.
And this is a way that you can stay close to the game.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. One thing people would be surprised to learn about you.
My two brothers actually work in some form for Notre Dame. My brother worked at Ace Academies for all the Catholic schools, and then my youngest brother works on all the team travel for the football team over at Anthony Travel.
So had you been in Notre Dame Stadium before you took this job?
Yes, sir. I grew up coming. Terrific.
So you can both answer the question. What do you think of that video board?
I like it. Just in terms of what it can do for the environment and the crowd noise that it brings of just that the one weekend, the Michigan game, of showing the highlight of the game, 30 years ago, and getting the crowd more into it. I think it just adds another element to the stadium.
It's awesome. The fact that you can walk outside the stadium and see something lit up like that, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's a huge favorite of mine, obviously, now my new duties on the sidelines. I'm basically watching the game up there, and I don't have to run up and down the sideline because I actually can see it just as well, and I get a different perspective. I first learned that, and I think this is what really put it over the top. We had done a number of Shamrock games in different venues where they had a scoreboard. Yankee Stadium, for example. But when we went to Dallas, and I had to do sideline stuff that game, and I was supposed to be interviewing people in the suites. And in Dallas, the suites are like underground. I still don't understand it. You guys been to Jerry's World yet? Yeah. Those luxury, they're behind the benches. They're behind the team, and they're like 3 feet sunk. You can't see anything but feet. So I was interviewing people there. I'm watching a game on the big screen. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of it as well. Since you both said you're in the office every day by 6 a.m., what would you prefer, getting up early or sleeping in?
Getting up early.
Yeah, you can't, neither one of you can sleep in, can they?
No. It's ruined for us.
Favorite breakfast meal?
French toast.
Pancakes.
Okay. Favorite sport to watch?
Golf.
Football.
Now, you can do this. Tell me if you want to do players or staff. Best nickname on the team, player or staff?
I just like Woo. Jeremiah Owusu.
Okay.
It's short and sweet.
I haven't been here long enough to find any yet.
Okay. So. Coach or staffer on the team? And another tough question for you, but who's most like you?
I would say Coach Denson. Another former Notre Dame grad, kind of, mild-mannered, doesn't get too flustered.
Anybody, Dan, at this early stage that reminds you of you?
Can I say Coach Kelly? I mean, Grand Valley guys.
Absolutely. That's a good connection. Absolutely. Now, you're around the players all the time, and you're in the locker room all the time, so you can answer all these things. Best singer on the team?
I would go with Jeremiah Owusu again.
Okay.
He's in there at all hours of the night, and you just hear one voice coming from the locker room. It's normally his.
Yeah, I got to agree. That's one I have caught on to.
Who's the best comedian on the team?
Plants.
Yeah, I would say Logan Plants.
Really? Okay. How about the player who thinks he's really, really funny, but isn't that funny? Just the guy, when he walks away, everybody's shaking his head going, oh, no, not again.
I would say Micah Treadway.
Okay.
I could see that.
How about the guy who thinks he sings really well, but people would prefer he not sing?
That's a good question. There's not too many singers out there, though.
Really? There's not a lot of singing going on in that locker room?
There's plenty of music, but not a lot of singing.
How about the coach who brings the best chuckles? The best comedian on the coaching staff?
I don't know. Especially this time of year, it's
they're all pretty serious,
mostly
pretty
business.
buttoned down,
pretty locked in.
No messing around. Right, best dresser on the team among the players that you see.
I would say Alize Mack.
I gotta agree. Mac just brings it.
Best dresser on the coaching staff?
Oh, Coach Kelly.
This is easy. We got to get him to show up in a T-shirt with a hole in it someday just to shock people. Now, that would destroy the interview. Best thing about working for Notre Dame?
The first day I got on campus, they said it was, welcome to the family, and that's pretty much it. You're part of the Notre Dame family, and it extends between the coaching staff and the players and everybody that you work with every day.
Dan?
I'm going to cheat a little bit and take it off the video that they played last week during the Ball State game. It's Notre Dame.
Great answers, guys, and I'll tell you what, I can already tell you need a certain personality to succeed and not only do this job well, but to thrive in it. And I think you guys both have the perfect personalities for it. Thanks for coming on tonight. You did a great job.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more with Coach Kelly in just a moment. It's the Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by our friends at TireRack.com.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
Many things can contribute to a bad day, and sometimes the planets seem to align, and all of those things happen at once, or at the very least in rapid succession. Then you get your worst day. But if you have a West Bend insurance policy covering the important things in your life, your worst day doesn't have to end up so bad after all, because the worst brings out our best. West Bend. To find out more, go to thesilverlining.com.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND. We are back for our final segment of this week's edition of the Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's. Vanderbilt comes to town on Saturday. They're 2-0. They beat Middle Tennessee 35-7, then Nevada 41-10. And I'll start the questioning with a question from Karen Spangler. Coach, is there any special preparation for the Vanderbilt quarterback, Kyle Shermer? He has experience and is the best passer that they have had at Vanderbilt for quite some time. He's close to, I don't think he'll break them all, but he has a shot at breaking all of Jay Cutler's records.
Yeah, he's first of all, he's experienced a lot in the SEC. He's played great competition on the road. So coming to Notre Dame is not going to be an issue for him. Very accurate, can throw the ball down the field, well coached. So, you know, I think another line of really good quarterbacks that we've seen the first 2 weeks with Neal and Patterson. So another really good quarterback that we're going to have to defend.
But I think, does that help? You've faced a couple of good guys.
Yeah.
And if anything,
no doubt,
Shermer may not be quite as mobile as the first two.
No, and probably not as mobile as Neal from Ball State. I think he really surprised our guys in terms of his elusiveness. So more of a pocket passer, no doubt, but extremely accurate and a guy that certainly can move their offense.
Second straight week, you will face a 3-4. And, of course, you're familiar with this defense because the head coach at Vanderbilt was the defensive coordinator at Stanford when you played him a few years ago.
Yeah, so Derek Mason's defensive structure is similar to what we've seen at Stanford each and every year, and he was the defensive coordinator at Stanford. Jason Tarver comes from the NFL, but was part of that Stanford tree. And so there's some similarities there, certainly. They've run a lot of 4 down. They can be multiple. They can be in 3 down and 4 down, and quite likely we'll see both. So we're prepared to play against both 3 down and 4 down. And, again, a physical SEC personnel grouping. I think they're physical on the back end. I think they've got an outstanding corner. And defensively, their edge players are very active. They get after it. They've got multiple schemes, as I mentioned. They can bring different looks and different pressures. So this will be a great challenge for us.
Right, Coach, as always, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
And, folks, don't forget, 2:30 p.m. kickoff this week, 2:30 p.m., and you can listen to the game on all of these Brian Kelly Radio Show affiliates. So for Coach Kelly, the greatest equipment staff in all of college football, Jack Nolan, thanks for coming out again, folks. We'll be here again next week. Good night and go Irish.
This is the Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House. Presented by Team Notre Dame partners, First Source Bank, Papa John's, Comcast, Nissan, O'Rourke's, St. Joseph Health System, Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance, TireRack.com, Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame, West Bend Insurance, and by Vivid Seats.